Hello and welcome to another installment of the Broadband Bunch Zero Touch Learning Series. I'm Joe Goldabella. Thanks for joining us. Today's event is sponsored by ETI Software Solutions. ETI Software Solutions, Broadband Simplified. Before we dive into today's discussion, just want to let you know that this and all of our interviews are available on broadbandbunch.com. So if you're interested in all things broadband, please visit us there. We're also available on Twitter at podcast.com. And the Broadband Bunch is also available at LinkedIn at the Broadband Bunch. Just type it in the search bar and we're right there. So billions of dollars are rushing into the broadband space, and cost-efficient construction and engineering services will be vital moving forward. That's why we're excited to have Trent Edwards, the Executive VP of Broadband Services from Mears Construction on today. Conducting the interview will be Lisa Buckman, a VP at Harrison Edwards. Trent, Lisa, thank you guys so much for your time and expertise. And with that, I'll turn it over to you guys.
Thanks, Joe. Trent,
Thank
it's
you,
great.
Joe.
Yeah, Trent, great to see you. I've been looking forward to this chat and hearing about what's new and exciting in broadband construction. So I'm guessing by that accent you're not from New York. You
So
tell us-
I tell everybody I'm from South Boston, way south.
There you
But
go.
yeah, it's hard to be the only one to speak correctly in this industry.
So let's start with you. Let's start the conversation there. If you could tell us a little bit about your background, how does one find their way to broadband construction?
Well, I absolutely had zero plans of doing this. Uh, I don't really know I knew what I wanted to do when I was younger, but graduated high school in 1990 and went to college and had all intentions of selling farm chemicals. Had a fraternity brother of mine. His father was a senior level individual at a company in Memphis, Tennessee, and took a summer job in 1995. And 28 years, 27, 28 years later, I'm here. I spent 19 years with XO Communications. Everybody that remembers that, it was, the mid 90s was a boom, exactly like we're experiencing now. I would argue that now is unlike anything we've ever seen. But it was exciting to be in there, and I needed a change. A good friend of mine and a mentor of mine asked me to come into the contractor world. I spent 5 years with him, and took a while to change
Mhm.
my mindset from being an operator of a large complex network to a contractor. That's a big change for a lot of people, and but I really enjoy it. You know, 4 years ago, I had the opportunity to come work with Mears.
Mhm.
It's been a adventure ever since.
So you've been there for a few years now. It's quite the interesting path. Can you talk a little bit about the company's capabilities? I mean, Mears has really emerged as a leader in broadband construction. So what are some of the things you're working on there?
Yeah, so Mears is a Quanta company. In the Quanta portfolio, Mears is a very large company. I describe Mears as the underground arm of Quanta. We really do a lot of HDD type work in the distribution space, the oil field space, the underground electric, and obviously, we had this opportunity to start the telecom business back up, and uh, it was an awesome opportunity with all the capabilities of Mears and all the capabilities of Quanta. When I say the underground arm, that's just the easiest way to explain it. But obviously, we do aerial work and have a large, diverse company with capabilities in all of those sectors and industries, and have the opportunity to scale and share those resources and abilities. So really that's a huge differentiator with a lot of the issues that we're facing today.
Hmm. So underground, aerial, design, and engineering. It sounds like Mears is a one-stop shop.
Well, we that's how we promote ourselves. We prefer, to being in a position of influence. helping and guiding the right scenarios and working with customers who have done their due diligence. And yeah, we absolutely believe we are, and we can help.
Mm-hmm. So even in yeah, like you said, everything's very fast and furious right now in the world of broadband. So even in the past few years that you've been at Mears, things have changed. So how has that sort of affected your vision for broadband deployment? How's that evolved, and what is your vision?
Well, I guess when I first came here, we were really trying to build business, a telecom business. Uh, it's hire the right people, create the culture. I'm very passionate about culture and maintaining that culture. But now it's so much more strategic. In the last year, 2 years, year and a half, it's been such a strategic approach to align with these communities and our customers and help them to understand how this is impacting their communities and expanding the industries in the communities, and how we get ahead of all the issues that are, quite frankly, facing not only us as the contractor, but everyone participating in that and making this happen at the pace and scale that it's happening today.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the way you frame that. It's really it's more than digging in the ground. It's about getting people to participate in the digital economy, really. It's like there's a mission behind your work. How does that play into the company culture? How is, Mears kind of taking a different approach to that?
Well, like I said, I believe in culture, and it is when you're growing at the pace that I'll speak to Mears. You're growing at the pace that Mears is growing. It is a the thing that keeps you up at night to maintain that culture, because having that company culture is we have our fundamental beliefs as a company and a division. We focus on safe, quality, productive work in that manner. But that the culture is people. It's deeper than that. We have a culture of being out with people that are actually doing the work. All we do is conference calls and emails. You know, these are the men and women that are out there representing the company every day, interacting with the community, interacting with the employee, interacting with all of our relationships with vendors and et cetera, et cetera. So, I believe we have the most passionate people in the industry. This is a group of people that we promote in that manner, and they carry that torch from to take that extra step and believe in what they're actually doing is making a difference. Now obviously we dig in the dirt and we drive heavy machinery and we put fiber and splice fiber and all the above. But there's so much more into this, the innovative thinking on how we can do things different, working with customers and delivering tangible results for them in a transparent way. I'll give you an example. I have a dear customer that has really helped me, and I feel I've helped them, to really understand that, at one point we were looking at it as a construction project, when in turn it was, we really should have been building that to align with their goals, and, that just being able to evolve, have those relationships, serve the customer better, serve the communities better, and help all of us understand what we're trying to achieve from the onset. Mm-hmm. And I think we really have continued to scale and grow and mature in that manner, and that's a huge differentiator.
Yeah. I wonder if for our listeners, you could come up with an example of how you take that innovative thinking approach to problem solving. So, what are some of the problems you're trying to solve? I imagine, cost containment must be a huge issue in this inflationary time.
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely an issue that we face and think about every day. All of my peers in the industry, I'm sure they are too. And let's take material and labor shortage, right? We all face that, and I would even argue, like if there were companies that said they had people available at this time in the industry, uh, they're either lying or are not very good at what they do. It's a very target rich time. So you have to be able to scale and do these things today and address these issues head on. So material shortages, we're really trying to leverage Mears and Quanta's buying power, to secure supply. We are thinking, even on the as an owner at times, how they a lot of times will buy materials, proactively secure allocations or allotments, with these material vendors. But we're really trying, to secure warehouses across the country, proactively buy equipment or materials, and then I think that it's the same thing with developing people. We have a lot of opportunities and resources to utilize Quanta and Mears' ability through the Lazy Q Ranch, Northwest Lineman's College, through all of our vet programs. So doing that proactively, building bench strength and putting people in the market prior to really having to pay them, putting bench per se. So,
Yeah.
That's a huge position for us and our ability to do that. Working with the customers, taking a consultant position, with them. Our goal is to develop a strategic partner with them before, all this explodes and preserve the business before this explodes into the market.
Well, and how does that strategy apply to smaller builds? Like, you talked about the warehousing and supply chain. Is it tough when you're working in a smaller community and making that economically work for a smaller project?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta do the pitch for the contractors, right? Everybody thinks we make all this money. We don't. We have to estimate this stuff correct. We have to plan correct. We have to execute correctly, so sometimes it doesn't make sense for like large companies like ourselves to be involved in smaller deals that can bring the scale. But what we would argue is that there's a huge opportunity for communities, particularly in the rural communities that we're out there building in and are going to be funded and are going to start to see the activity increase in those areas, that we can really create efficiencies if we have these conversations in the beginning, cluster some of these smaller markets, expand the network of partners, and collaborate. I think there's a lot of benefit to that. I think there's a lot of decrease in time frames and cost if we were to approach things like that. And I would submit to the communities that it's something we should all entertain.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Switching gears to talk about funding a little bit, what's available now, what's coming down the pike. Are you seeing, regulatory challenges sort of affect how you're preparing? Like, how are the constraints sort of affecting, costs and materials?
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing some constraints today. You talk about the rules of the construction, the materials, labor, the materials Buy America compliance, requiring us to keep more records, more detailed records around personnel and type of procurement alignments. And, I think a lot of that is different thinking and a different approach from what we've historically done. We're proactively looking into that. We're proactively developing programs and trying to make things easier, not only for us but our partners. And but on the other hand, I think that from a government funding position, financially stable companies, participating in these type of programs really puts Mears in a good spot.
Yeah. And you mentioned the community. There's so much for communities to think about in terms of accessing this funding. There's lead times and budgets and credit guarantees and reporting requirements. And, from where you sit, what do you see as the biggest challenge? Where should they start? What are the biggest challenges, and how can Mears help them become more shovel ready?
Well, I think that, obviously all the upfront type of activities that take place, I would really do my due diligence on the correct contractor. Uh, and there's thousands of very good contractors out there, and you know the people that will align with your expectations in the community. Uh, I think that your questions around issues, I think that locates are going to be a huge issue, keeping up with the amount of construction that's going on, and with that, the community's updating their right-of-way permit processes, the community buy-in, understanding we're going to be, what we do is disruptive to some extent, because obviously we are uh, digging, for lack of a better term, within your community, which at times causes issues. And, I think all of those things we're seeing today, it's just such an influx of activity and construction in those city and municipal right of ways that, we really got to think through that. Communities really have to think through that and collectively figure out a way to, bring the speed to market, achieve both our goals and the community's goals, and make this happen on budget, on time, on schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned that permit process, which can be quite onerous. Is that something Mears can help facilitate, is to expedite that along?
Yeah, we position ourselves as an EPC contractor. We absolutely have that capability within Quanta, and can bring all assets of from a consultative or consultative position in the beginning, feasibility, identities, and move all the way through to complete turnover of your parts.
Right. You touched on labor a bit, and the good news, obviously, with all this funding is there's going to be a lot of high-paying, high-skilled jobs. But not so good news. It's going to be tough to fill those. We've heard about either a lack of awareness of the opportunities ahead, or post-COVID, a segment of the workforce retiring, not coming back. Maybe there's a loss of institutional knowledge there. So, what are some of the things that Mears has done to address the talent shortage, and do you think it's going to slow down broadband deployment?
Yeah, look, I think that let me break that into a couple questions. So, your first approach, I mean, we are seeing that it is not as as inviting to younger folks coming into the workforce at any position, that what we do it isn't working on computers or designing or developing games or the things that you know that excite a younger generation. It's but like back to this whole innovative approach. Like I had no intention of getting in telecom. It's a ripe environment. The upward mobility, the ability to learn things, ability to scale and grow, and develop to a leadership path, into business opportunities. The whole gamut is within this industry, and it's very technical. And not only we dig in the dirt, but we're helping evolve these communities. We're helping the real estate. We're the real estate industry. We're advancing the medical industry. Everything that we do within all of these things that are exciting and new and inviting for the future cannot happen without the work that we do every day. And that's exciting to me. How we are really making an impact. And I would submit to everybody that's looking and thinking of a career, this is exciting and it's awesome, and you really make a difference. Now, as far as Mears and Quanta and what we're doing, we have access to, like I said earlier, many, many programs. We have the Lazy Q Ranch, that training facility, and, we have a lot of paths for development within there. We have the Northwest Lineman's College, which now has a telecom graduating class, the telecom construction aerial and underground that come out of there that we have access to, and the mini vet programs. So, we're really focusing on that to make a difference.
Yeah. Maybe the answer to this is it depends, but are you relying more on a mobile workforce, maybe seasonal, depending on the weather, you're moving people around, or are you hiring local? Like, what's the right approach for a project?
It's all the above, right?
Yeah.
I have to be honest, because projects come to an end, projects start up in different places, but we are really trying to utilize the ability, for the indirect workforce to, utilize technology and be able to influence from an offsite position. But there's still the folks that we have to have in market. We have to be with our people. We have to be with our subcontractors and interact with the community and customers. And so I know that's a very vague answer, Lisa, but I would say it's a combination of all that.
Mm-hmm. Trent, what haven't I asked? What's you're on the road a lot, and traveling around to communities. What are people talking about? What's bubbling up? What's the big concerns you're seeing?
Well, I think that I think that we're really concerned about the resource shortages. I think that's a looming problem that we all have to address. Training, taking the time to train. We have to do a great job with interviewing to really understand, where people's skill sets lie, and how we can best utilize them and put them on a path to navigate that to be impactful. It's real easy for everybody right now to just hug them and say, come work for us, when we, really should be interviewing and, getting the right resources and developing the right resources. So that's, and then people are, people are working many hours, a lot of difficult conflicts out in the construction environment that we deal with, like I spoke of, locate, permit issues, and with these issues, we have slowdowns within the business. So, it's people are working a lot of long hours, pushing on, but I will say that it's never been exciting as it is right now within our industry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, putting all those challenges aside, let's end on a positive note. What's the most exciting part of, what gets you up and out of bed every morning? What's the most exciting part about the work you're doing?
Well, it's exactly that. Like, I'm a little crazy at times, I guess, but with all of these challenges, it creates opportunities.
Yeah.
And having the ability to work in this industry, I have a lot of friends that are, that are competitors of mine. We share and talk and, work together, and it's, the people within Mears that I get the opportunity to work with every day and the amazing things they accomplish. Hey, look, we make mistakes. I make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But, just doing the best we can, being transparent, delivering what we said we'd deliver. It's just awesome. And like I said, all these challenges are opportunities. That's what gets me out of bed.
That's terrific. Well, it's all great to hear, and I can't thank you enough for spending the time with us. It's been a great insights into your work and what's happening on a broader scale in the industry. Thanks for.
No, thank you.